Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today's video, we are going to be playing in the VH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette. This is not a new palette. I think it came out in 2020, but it's new to me. It is new to my collection, and I just couldn't wait to dig in. I wanted to play with this bad boy. I created 3 looks. This is the 3rd look here. You will see all 3 looks. You'll see how I created them. I tried to be a little bit more creative and play with some different colors in here. So we have a pink look, a green look, and this blue look here. I did get this on sale at the BH Cosmetics website, and when I was checking today, it was still on sale. So I'm gonna have this palette linked down below in case you wanna go ahead and check it out. But without further ado, why don't we jump into the 3 looks? All right, y'all, I'm super excited to dig into this palette. I've heard so many good things. I have heard so many good things. Now, I have to say, if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit more excited about avocado toast than blueberry muffin. This color story just speaks to me. Now, of course, initially, I'm like, ooh, I need to do something green. Like, what am I gonna do? But then also, I have like this maroon shirt on. So should I show the versatility and do something maroon? So I think that's what we're gonna do today. I think for today's look, we're gonna stick to the maroons. I'm gonna use pink salt, paprika, expensive, maybe pit, avocado, and kind of lean on that scope. And I'll do multiple looks. So we'll have a green look, we'll do like some yellows, we'll use the bottom row. We're gonna see how creative I can get. I'm gonna go in with my eye primer. I like to use the Fenty, what's this called? Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. It's just the eye primer that I have at the moment. You can use whatever you have. I struggle with eczema on my eyelids, so I mean, I've used MAC paint pots, I've used the Urban Decay primers, and they all kind of work well for a while, and then they begin to get like a little bit too dry. Now, I'm someone who typically sets my eyeshadow primer because I have hooded eyes, and I feel like that helps everything just kind of stay in place. But I don't have a shade in this palette that I could use to do that with, so that's okay. We're gonna work with what we can, okay? So I'm gonna go into pink salt and this fluffy E40 brush. If you caught my 5 looks using the ColourPop Your Golden palette, then you would know that I need to wash my brushes, and I still haven't done that yet. I still have not washed my brushes, but that is definitely on my to-do list. I'm actually having a little bit of a rough morning, and this is calming to me. Putting on makeup, playing with makeup, this is very calm and relaxing, so this is the vibe that I need. But my daughter Brielle is taking swim lessons at the Aquatots by our house, and she has swim tomorrow. And so my husband is working still. He'll be off for 2 weeks. The end of this week, his 2 weeks will start, so I'm super excited. But I do not really get to film unless Brielle's napping, so until he's home. Then I'll have a little bit more flexibility. But tomorrow, Brielle has swim class, and then after swim class, we come home and she gets ready for a nap, and I have to shower and everything, so I won't have time to film tomorrow. But I wanted to play in some makeup, so that is what we're doing here. Okay, so I still want a brush that's pretty fluffy, so this is the Morphe Y17, and I'm gonna go into this shade Paprika. I just realized I didn't do the crease on the other side. That's okay. Let's do paprika. I'm telling y'all, it has been a morning, and then I'll replicate this. And I am going to put this throughout the crease, but I want to try and keep it a little bit lower. And the reason why I chose a fluffier brush is because paprika looks, and it is, pretty pigmented, and I wanted to be able to like have it nice and blown out and not super dark. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with my BK207. It has more of a domed point, and I'm going to go into Pit right here And I'm just going to put that right out here in the outer V. This is typically the way that I prefer to do my makeup. I like to have a shade that I can use to like blend everything out. I like to have a deeper crease shade, put a darker color in the outer V, throw a little shimmer on there. I just feel like that's what looks nice for my eye shape. Now I am trying to use color more. I know ironically enough, I'm creating like a more neutral pinky look here, but we'll see more versatility with this palette. I want to play with color more, and I feel like greens are less intimidating than some other color stories. I'm excited to play with the Blueberry Muffin palette, but the blues and grays in there are definitely going to challenge me more so than the greens in the Avocado Toast palette, which is why we are starting with this palette here. And once I have this palette done, then we'll work on the Blueberry Muffin. Now for the lid shade, I'm going to go into Expensive, and I'm going to use my 203 by BK and I'm going to spray it with MAC Fix Plus because I do that with all of my shimmers. I find that it just helps the pigment, any pigment, create a nice punch, although this does look pretty pigmented, but it also helps with fallout, and I am not a fan of fallout, so we are going to use some Fix Plus. Ooh, look at this shade. That is so pretty. So pretty. The thing I like about this BK Beauty brush is it is more tightly packed than some of my other shader brushes, but it still is fluffy at the tip, which I feel like helps with the blending so that I don't get such a harsh crease. And I do not have any fallout. Maybe a little tiny bit right here. Barely any. Wow, that shimmer shade was amazing. I have to tell you, it was amazing. I think what I'm gonna do is take my pencil brush, the same one that I always like to use, my Sigma E30, and I'm gonna go back and forth between Paprika and Pit, more so on the Paprika and just like a touch of Pit, and put this right under the lower lash line and smoke it out a bit. Then I like to do an inner corner pop, so we're gonna go in with Avocado. I love that they have this shade. It looks nice and punchy, and I'm just going to put that right here on the inner corner. Ooh, that's a pretty shade. I love a bright inner corner pop. Oh yes. Alright, so my camera battery died, but here is the finished look. I don't know if this will be the first look, the last look, I don't know, but here is the look. It's the first look that I created using the Avocado Toast palette. Other makeup on my face. Trying to use up some of my Project Pan. Okay, there's going to be an update coming soon if it's not already up. So I'm using my Fenty foundation. I went in with my Hourglass, I was going to call this concealer, my Hourglass bronzer, but I also used another bronzer. I also used a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush bronzer, and I used the shade medium. Then for blush, I went in with my Jouer blush in the shade Adore Me. This is a beautiful blush that I don't give enough love to, so I reached into that one. And for my highlighter, I used the Ofra Cosmetics Feeling Myself highlighter in the shade Rodeo Drive, again because this is in my Project Pan, and there will be an update on this shortly. For lips, also in my Project Pan, my Pillow Talk lip liner by Charlotte Tilbury, and my Kylie Cosmetics liquid lipstick, the Velvet liquid lipstick in the shade Bear. Okay, we are back for look number 2. I'm gonna prime using the same primer, and today we are going to dive into the greens and yellows and create a true avocado look. The first look that I did with this palette wasn't even including any of the greens or the yellows or the golds. So today, that is what the plan is. And then for my third video, I want to use that bottom row. So let me pull it out of the sleeve here. I am thinking, here's the palette right here. So I'm thinking we're gonna use like these shades right here, and then we'll dip into this bottom row next time. This shade's really pretty too. We might even dip in there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a page out of my girlfriend Heather Austin's book. I've never really applied my shadow this way, but she does it often. So I'm gonna take this yellow over easy shade, and I think I'm gonna try and put that just on the inner part of my crease, and then go in with Avo Toast, the green, and the second half of my crease. That's the plan. I'm gonna use a fluffy brush, the Sigma E40, and dip into over easy. And then when I see her do this, she's usually patting before she blends to get the full pigmentation. Now this is a yellow. I don't have much experience with yellows, but I know that it's a lighter shade in general, so I might have to build it up a bit. So I'm actually gonna take the Sigma E25, which is a little bit more dense, packed a little bit tighter, and I think that might give me a little bit more of a color payoff than the fluffy brush. And I just want to make sure that you can see that yellow. I don't have the same eye shape as Heather. She has more deep set eyes, my eyes are more hooded, so I don't know if this technique is just better fit for her or if it will work for me, but I want to make sure that you can see that lighter shade. Typically what I would do is take the lighter shade and kind of put that all over the crease and then go in with the greens, but I wanted to give it a try. Okay, so I don't know how much of the yellow you can see on camera. I can see it, but it's pretty light. It is a yellow. But now I'm gonna go in with Avo Toast, and I'm gonna put that on like the outer part of my crease, and I don't wanna use that big fluffy brush, so I'm gonna take the tapered blending E35, which is still fluffy, but not as wide as the other one, and a little bit of Avo Toast, and I'm gonna put it right here on this outer part. I don't want to make it mesh too much with the yellow. Like obviously I want it to blend in a little bit, but I don't want it to like look muddy or anything. So I'm just gonna try and blend these two together and get some green on this eye. So this is that initial brush, the E40 with no product. And I'm just gonna kind of help blend those edges. And I'm just gonna keep going back and forth a little bit until I get the pigmentation that I like. Okay, so now I want a little bit more depth in the look. It's looking really good so far, pretty light. So I'm gonna go in with Superfood right here. And I'm gonna take my dense BK207, dip into Superfood, and kind of put this out into the outer V. And once I've done that, I'll go in with my 202 by KBellaBeauty, which is more tapered, and I'll get a little bit more of Superfood and run it a tiny bit through the crease just to add a little bit of depth to the look. Do you guys have an eye that turns out better? Like an eyebrow, an eye, a contour, a blush, like a side of your face? Today it's this one. My right eye is looking better. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my fluffy E40 again and just a touch of that Avo Toast right here, and just make sure that that light green is not lost in the Superfood. Just kind of help blend everything together. I do like that the yellow is still popping on the inner corner. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, so this is where I'm not so sure what I want to do. Originally, I thought we would just go in with lemon pepper all over the lid, and that looks really pretty. But Haas, or Haas, however you say that, That looks really pretty also. So now I'm wondering, like, do I put the green on the outer part and put this lighter shade on the inner part? I don't want to go with just the green. Do I go with just the light? That's what I'm not sure about right now. What do I want to do? Okay, so I do think that deeper green would look so pretty, but I think I'm gonna stick with my initial and go in with this lemon pepper shade. I'll spray my brush. I always spray my brush. I am going to use my BK203. We have a neighbor coming over to play with Brielle a little bit later, so I kind of wanted to keep my makeup a little bit on the lighter side. I don't want to go too deep with that deep green. So I think we'll just take a lemon pepper. Ooh, that's a pretty shade. And put this all over the lid. So then I think, just for the fun of it, to get another color in here, let's go in with Ripe, this shade right here that I haven't used yet, and my BK204. I will tap into Ripe, and I'll put that right along the lower lash line. Just a little different shade of green. Still a green, but a little bit of a different undertone. Give it a little extra pizzazz. Okay, so once I put some mascara on, a lip, a little bit of liner, this is what the finished look is right here. I did go in with my Pillow Talk lip liner by Charlotte Tilbury and my Juvia's Place lipstick in the shade 2020, and that rounds out this look using the Avocado Toast palette. I am hoping to create, well, I mean, I know I'm gonna create one more look, but I'm hoping to create one more look, and I kind of want to use these shades down here. So I'm gonna be brainstorming. I'm gonna see what I can come up with, but I hope that you enjoyed the first two looks. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the third one? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into our third and final look. We're gonna play a little bit with those blue shades down on the bottom. I think I have an idea of what I wanna do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and prep my eyes the way that I've been doing, and then we'll jump into the video. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these three shades right here. I'm gonna put Guac in the crease, and then I'm gonna do a halo eye with Extra and Green Juice, putting Green Juice in the middle. Where I was a little unsure is for my transition shade, did I want to go in with Pink Salt or Over Easy? That's where I'm not 100% sure. I think I am going to go in with Pink Salt. I can feel my lid sticking together. So we're going to take my Sigma E40 blending brush, a little bit of Pink Salt, and not going to be precise, and I don't really need this to be super pigmented. I just want to have a little hint of pink, and I feel like that will help me blend out that Guac shade so that it has a nice, smooth, seamless transition. Okay, so then using my BK202, my tapered brush, I'm going to go into this blue shade right here in Guac, and we are going to put this right in the crease, and I'm going to use the pink shade to help me blend it out. Okay, so I do want to say I'm having a little bit of trouble blending this, but I don't think it's the shadow. I normally set my crease after I've primed with like a bone shade, and I didn't do that because there isn't one in this eyeshadow palette, and so I'm feeling a little bit of like tugging and sticking to the crease. It's making this blue very pigmented, but I'm having a hard time like blending it all out and getting it where I want it to go. So I'm just gonna play with it a little bit, and I'm gonna use a little bit of that pink shade and my fluffy brush to help blend it out once I get the pigment where I want it. But this is a good like note to self that if I want to use these shades again, I should probably set my eyeshadow primer like I normally do. Okay, so I feel like what we did with the pink was completely covered up, which is fine. That's okay. I just wanted to use it to help me blend anyway. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take extra with my BK203, and I'm gonna try and focus it on like the outer and inner parts of my eye. And then I am going to take green juice and kind of tap that right in the center. Now I do have small eyes, so it may be hard to keep extra just on the inner and outer corner. We will see how that goes. I am going to spray my brush with Fix Plus. If I end up covering my whole lid, I'll still put green juice on like the middle part and I'll use my finger. But we'll see how this goes on. Ooh, this is a very deep shade. Very pretty. I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep the center of my eye without shadow since my eyes are so small. So I'm just gonna cover it and then I'll tap green juice on the center. This reminds me of a shade, but I don't know what shade. Maybe the blue shade in the Club Nebula palette. Is that what this is reminding me of? It's really pretty. Okay, so then taking my pinky and that green juice shade and just putting that right in the center. It's not really doing much. I kind of wish I had like more lid space so that I could make it show up a little bit better. But it does kind of give it a little bit of a green hue right there in the center of my eye. Okay, I did get the tiniest bit of fallout, so I was trying to wipe it away. I want to tie in a little bit more green, so I think what I'm going to do is go in right here in this ripe shade and put that right along the lower lash line using my Sigma pencil brush and see if we can tie in a little bit more green to the look. Make it look a little bit more avocado-like. And then taking my BK204 and going back into the guac shade, that blue, and I'm just gonna press a little bit of this on that outer corner to almost make it look like the blue is wrapping around my eye. Okay, that's what it's looking like here. Going in again with Avocado and my finger, popping that on the inner corner, and then I will put some mascara on, pick a lip, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. So this is the finished look here. On the lips, I do have Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. It's in my project pan, y'all. I'm trying to work through it. We're getting really close. I am also wearing one of Jacqueline's Pout Spoken lipsticks. This is in the shade Be Brave, and I've mentioned this before. I do really enjoy the color of her lipsticks. I don't find them to be too drying. The one thing that I do notice though is they do settle into the fine lines in my lips. So I wouldn't really necessarily recommend these unless you have like super smooth lips, or if you really enjoy the colors and you want to purchase them, then I do think that applying a gloss over the top kind of helps to smooth everything out. I didn't do that today, but nonetheless, this is the look here. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out and we will talk about my thoughts on this palette. I hope you enjoyed the 3 looks that I created using the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette. I think the second look, like the yellow and green, like I think that might have been my favorite look that I created. The one that I'm probably most likely to wear is the first look, and then this is my fun look here with the greens and blues. I would love to know in the comments down below what your favorite look that I created was, but overall, thoughts on this palette. I am glad that it's in my collection. I'm really happy that even though BH Cosmetics is a more affordable brand, I am glad that I got this palette on a discount or on sale, just because I don't think this is a color story that I'm going to reach for like on a day-to-day basis. I am still like very much a neutral lover. However, I do love playing with green shadows. I think there are still so many looks to be created, to be had with this palette. I think the shimmers performed beautifully. The mattes were really nice. The only time that I had an issue was with this guac shade. When I was trying to blend it out, it was sticking to the crease in my eye. But I think if I just set down my eyeshadow primer beforehand, I don't think I would have that issue because everything ended up blending out beautifully. I really enjoy the color combination, and I'm definitely going to get some more use out of this palette. I am really enjoying it. I did have a little bit of fallout with this look here that I created, and I do kind of have some sparkles like left underneath my eyes. I don't really remember having too much fallout with the first two looks. I don't know if it was just because this look was more bold or more deep, but nonetheless, I will still play with this palette. Just in the future, I will probably do my eyes first. I typically like to do my face first when I'm like filming tutorials just because it's easier. I don't have to like start doing my look, stop, do the face, come back, do the eye. So just something to note. But overall, I'm really happy with this palette. I definitely would recommend it. And now I'm interested. Stay tuned because I also have the Blueberry Muffin palette. Now I'm interested to play with that palette and see my thoughts. But if you enjoyed this one, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.